Hi all. I hope you guys have written answer to today's question. Our topic for today was governance from GS2. And please, I urge you all to get your answers evaluated on Collector Babu. Let us not waste a lot of time and start discussing today's question. The first question was, the Gati Shakti Yojana needs meticulous coordination between government and private sector to achieve the goal of connectivity. Discuss. Well, you might ask, how is this a governance question? Well, a lot of people did ask this, especially in the year 2022, because it seems like a question straight out of uh, GS3 investment part. However, what we can try to do is use the knowledge base from GS3, however, use certain points to give it a governance angle. How you can give it in a governance angle? Because it's talking about how to effectively implement a project, which is Gati Shakti Yojana. Gati Shakti Yojana, what is it? National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity. It does, in a way, build the economic infrastructure of the government, which helps in governance, which helps in ease of living for the citizen. So you can, in a way, just slightly slide in all these topics and all these points so as to make your answer GS2 oriented. However, because this is a very factual question, and for the part where Gati Shakti Yojana is asked, however, like again, this generic part comes to improve coordination between government and private sector through PPP mode. Through PPP mode, we can use some of those knowledge to make it more analytical. So let us see what we can do. First, we'll give a small introduction as to what Gati Shakti Yojana is. Well, you'll talk about the transformative initiative by the government to enhance infrastructure and connectivity across road, rail, and water networks. Okay, simple. And then you will talk about the key aspects of coordination. Even in the last class, I discussed about this different way of approaching question, which is by making table. Okay, what will this help in? If you do not have a lot of value addition, you can use table. I have used table in all the three answer, which I'll be continuing for the next 2 or 3 days. But after that, I'll be switching to the generic form. And maybe a hint of some table here and there so that you understand that even this is a way to address, and previously how we have talked about, even that are the ways to address those specific questions. Okay, so but you need to know that when you're writing answer, try to mix both of these forms. Okay, so you'll talk about key aspects of coordination between government and private sector to enhance connectivity. You will talk about policy formulation and implementation, the area where you can say that how the government will develop robust framework to streamline processes and reduce delay, and the private sector will comply with the regulation and provide practical insights and implementation. See what we have done. If you would have just written these 2 points in a very in statement forms, it would look very generic, but that you have just added this aspect and area column, so it has just made it more nuanced. It looks more nuanced. However, the content in either of the case you will be writing the same. So if you think you do not have a lot of content, you can work on your presentation. This is one such area. Okay, because you might not actually be able to give a lot of data for Gati Shakti. I'm not saying that you don't know, you should know, but in cases when you don't, you can go for this approach. Then you will talk about PPP model, how government should create an enabling environment and private sector would invest in infrastructure. Then technology and innovation, supportive research funding, adopting best practices. I mean, you have, for writing this kind of answer, you don't have to focus on the government part and the private part. Try to develop innovative point in aspect area part, and you will be able to fetch more marks because it will highlight your answer differently. Okay, so again, for the last few classes I have been discussing this way of writing answer, which is make a table for expressing your case study. Okay, what you can do here, you can just write like make a table at the right hand side, left hand side, anywhere, and you can just give one case study. Here we can give this case study of Noida Yamuna Expressway. Okay, the success story using a PPP model. The goal was obviously to improve infrastructure and connectivity. Okay, what else? Improved connectivity and economic growth. So this has in a way helped. What else? You'll talk about the benefit of the coordination, and in the last part, you can just say address. You can just talk about the challenges. So benefit would be seamless connectivity. See, you don't need to write this benefit part because it is just 10 marker. I have just written it so that you know you can write if you have time. But what is important is to give one case study which will serve as an example. If you do not have an example to write like at every point, if you don't have an example for each area, just make a case study. I'm not saying that that would supplement it, but it will definitely complement it. Okay, so benefits you can talk about. Some of the challenges is a definite thing you need to write. You'll talk about there are a lot of bureaucratic delays and lack of clear policies. For this, you'll get a lot of data from various magazines itself. Okay, hesitation of the private player due to a high risk. See, even in the GS3, if this were a GS3 question, you could have given the name of Kelkar committee. Okay, right. So here you can also give name of Kelkar committee in the conclusion part because it is in a way just asking about PPP but different name. Okay. Then you can talk about way forward. In the way forward, you'll talk about some of the recommendation of Kelkar committee, and you'll talk about strengthening the framework, technological adoption, etc. But try to make it small because it's just 10 marker. You have to focus on example, giving name of Kelkar committee and aspect of coordination. Okay. Now let's move on to the second question. From now on, you'll try to see that governance question is not something which you can just answer by pure facts. Especially in governance question, I would say, because it's not something that is being asked directly. It's something very analytical. So when you're writing analytical answers, try to work on your presentation because you might not have a lot of value addition to give. Okay. So the crucial aspect of development process has been inadequate attention paid to human resource development in India. Okay. Suggest measures that can address this inadequacy. So this is a governance question. What are you supposed to do in this? You will talk about, first you can talk about, what development actually entails. You can give a small definition of development, but then you can say, or that's one way, or the other way is to give, some human development index parameter. You can say this is India's ranking, etc. Even though our GDP is rising, yet this data highlights that there has been very minimal to negligible attention given to emphasis given on human resources in policy making and development process, etc. Okay, then that would serve as a introduction. Then then the second part of the question is, okay, this is the introduction. Then the second part is, what are the issues of HRD in India, human resource development? Okay, suggest measure, like there has been inadequate attention paid, so you have to talk about like what are those issues that inadequate attention has been paid, inadequate attention has been given. Okay, so now you will talk about some of the major areas of human resources. First would be skilling, education, investment gap, healthcare, etc. Like mostly that issues. So education, you'll give example of low literacy rate. And then you can talk about skills in the report. You can give some of the data. Lifelong learning, like there is no emphasis on lifelong learning. You can bring in some more issues of women. You can bring in some more issues of healthcare, okay, of discrimination, etc. So basically the well, let's just forget the discrimination part, but basically education, health. Okay, the primary area you can give about the rate of GDP. You can give about how very minimal attention has been paid on research and development. Okay, some of those area. Insufficient investment, low public and private investment in education, healthcare, research and development, etc. Then policy gaps. You can give some example. Okay, so then the part of the question is to talk about addressing this human resource development inadequacies. You'll talk about how to do it. You'll talk about, various government schemes like Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Then you will talk about skill development mission like Skill India mission. to develop industry specific programs, then promoting gender equality by stand up India scheme. Okay, beti bachao beti padhao, a lot of things would come when you're talking about increasing human resource development in the development process itself. For the case study part, you can give Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. You can give just some point, like how much impact it has created and what was the objective. You can just, or bridging the skill gap, etc. Like any other important skill initiative, if you can just try to give some name. If you have any state specific skilling mission, that would be even better, because that might be something not everybody would be writing in your answer. Okay, in their answer. So at last, what are you going to write? At last, you'll be giving small conclusion, which would be like, just a generic conclusion, or you can connect it with some SDG. Like you can talk about some of the SDGs, major SDGs in this area would be SDG 8 for decent work and living. Okay. The development process, you can talk about healthcare SDG. Okay. You can talk about education, SDG 4, healthcare, SDG 3. You can talk about gender equality, SDG 5. You can connect like a few of these SDGs to write a conclusion. So when I talked about writing conclusion, this is a go-to framework for writing any conclusion. If you're not able to get anything in your mind, just go for any SDG which you think might be relevant to that question. Write it, and it's much, much better than not writing a conclusion, or even writing a very generic conclusion. Okay, first is this. What would be the second way to approach writing conclusion? The second way is to actually have some of the very quirky quotes which are being used by the ministers, which are being used by many of the thinkers in contemporary times. You can have some of their quotes. You'll get few in the Hindu itself. You will get a few in other magazines, and some you might find in Economic Survey, Niti Aayog, etc. So you can use that. Let's move on to the third question, which is, can civil society and NGO present an alternative model of public service delivery to benefit the common citizen? Discuss the challenges of this alternative model. Okay. Okay. See, again, this is not very your go-to factual question. This is analytical question. You have to analyze how will they or can they. Okay. So let's see. You can just talk about giving small introduction about the number of civil society organizations we have. Okay. That's a good way to begin this question with the data. And then what else can you talk? And in which domain we are talking about? We are talking about the public service delivery. Okay. So you can talk about the potential, because that is what is being asked about. Potential of NGOs and civil society to uh, reform public service delivery and to participate in public service delivery. Okay. So what will you do? The key role would be to target marginalized community, because those community which are just left out. So here you can give a lot of examples of various NGOs. You can give example like Goonj, right? So this is a very important question which comes from the NGO part. Sometimes we might just not understand like what's the relevance of the NGO civil society. Well, civil society is very much understandable because UPSC has many a times asked questions directly from civil society part. But what is the relevance of NGO or public funding or charities and foundation part? We are never able to gauge the depth of the question UPSC can ask. But it does ask, and it's mostly analytical. So for that, you need to have, a few relevant data on your hand, and at the same time name of some of the NGOs and what are the work they are involved in. Okay, that would be at least the bare minimum you need to know to answer such questions. And as it is a part of your syllabus, you need to have that bare minimum content. Okay, so Goons Clothes for Work initiative, like targeting marginalized community. they are working in the public service delivery area, right? And then what else? You can talk about what other potential they'll bring about innovation, they'll bring about specificity, flexibility, making tailored and specific solutions to localized community, because they would be working at local level and not policy something made in New Delhi and would be implemented in some very like not to happening town of or not to happening village in Bihar. Okay, so you'll talk about participatory approach, which would be like a horizontal model of leadership, a horizontal model of working, where the flow of information and the flow of uh, the collective work is from both sides. You can talk about Pratham's participatory education program. You can talk about Teach for India. You can talk about many other initiatives or any other cooperative society for that matter. Then you can talk about advocacy and awareness. So if you try to understand what have we done in this question, we have just used the generic thing which we would be writing in this question, like what are the roles of NGO, or what is the role of civil society. We have just used that part, but in service delivery we have made a table so that it looks as if we know what you're writing. Okay, but this is the stuff everybody would be knowing. Okay, let's try to work from the data that everyone knows and not get disheartened that I don't have enough content. So what will we talk about? We'll talk about the challenges faced by NGOs and civil society. Again, very simple. We keep on mugging this up. Like there is, limited resource, and you can give some of the important data, how there has been government crackdown. Okay, you can give about information about, there's a lack of transparency and accountability. There's not sustainable in operation because of heavy reliance on donor, which would affect the long term viability, and it cannot be relied solely, like NGOs cannot be relied solely for public service delivery function. Then you'll talk about coordination, you'll talk about political interference, etc. So those were the generic stuff. You'll give some data, not a big issue. You guys are good enough in writing answers and you will write that. So what will you be writing in way forward? Here I'll like to give you all a name of a committee, which is Vijay Kumar committee, which was for for better coordination of NGO, better coordination between government and NGOs. Okay, try to read a little bit about Vijay Kumar committee. If in any question there is a question of NGO civil society, you can use the name of that committee. What else? We'll talk about way forward to enhance NGO and civil society organization contribution, like recommendation, strengthen resource mobilization, to diversify funding, including CSR contribution, international aid, etc. And, to not go on the heavy-handed crackdown, rather a softer regulation. What else? Enhancing accountability mechanisms like transparent processes with regular audits, and then improve coordination with government. Uh, Here you will give the Vijay Kumar committee name. Then building capacity building for NGOs, long-term skilling, etc., etc. You can just write two. It's just too much. You just write two, and it will be enough. Don't worry. And then in the end, you'll be concluding with they have this immense potential, but obviously government needs to be there as a regulator and as a as a partner to bridge, well, as a regulator firstly, and also ensure that government does not abandon its responsibility in favor of NGOs and CSOs, but rather NGOs and CSO work to plug in all the gaps that are left by the government machinery and to aid and improve it through a two-way bi-directional flow of information. Okay, what else? That is how you'll be concluding this question, and that's it. So what did we learn today? We learned how in the questions which appear too analytical and we don't have a lot of data, we can use table format to make our thought process more clear. Okay, I hope that is clear, and enjoy writing and take care. Bye bye.